So I'm talking today to Abby Moore, and Abby is a photographer, and you're moving into branding. So hi, Abby,
Hello.
and would you like to introduce yourself?
Cool. So my name is Abby and I do brand photography, but I also do marketing and visibility coaching. So it all comes together and it's all about putting yourself out there to promote your business.
So that's really your USP, isn't it? It's all about that visibility.
Yes.
So you started off being a photographer.
Mm-hmm.
So who do you photograph? Is it families? Is it?
I do a little bit of work with families and wedding couples, but I would say like 80% of my work now is with small businesses. And of those small businesses, they are usually self-employed women, because that is my USP, is about getting people feeling comfortable on camera, comfortable talking about how great they are, comfortable putting themselves out there. Because I think a lot of women go into business because they love what they do, not because they want to become a brand. They don't want to that's not, no one goes into it and goes, oh, I'm going to be the star of the show. It's just because they enjoy, the service that they offer. And so that's where I come in, is kind of helping them get comfortable and realizing that if you are self-employed, you are a personal brand, you are the brand, and you need to put yourself out there. So I help people feel much more confident doing that, both in terms of mindset and knowing how to do it, what to do, but also in terms of giving them the photography to kind of put them out there.
Yeah, so it's a bit of both, isn't it? So I know that when I first started running a business, and this is actually the second time I've been self-employed, and the first time I didn't even think about marketing, because you just think about, I'm just going to do my job, my new job, my business, and then the marketing does go hand in hand, doesn't it? Because you've got to get yourself out there to promote your business, and you end up doing it yourself, don't you? Unless you can kind of put it out there to somebody else to do, you end up doing it yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like a lot of small businesses, particularly when sort of women work for themselves, they don't have the budgets to be sort of, putting it out to someone else, recruiting someone else to do it for them. So it does kind of come under what they do. But what I find with a lot of people is you could be the best person in your role, what you do. If you're no good at marketing, you're not going to get anywhere. So you really need to know how to put yourself out there.
Because nobody's going to know how brilliant you are.
No, exactly. And that's exactly what I'm helping people with in terms of kind of how to do that, the skills, but also the confidence to say how brilliant they are, because people don't like to say, this is me and I'm amazing, and they need to, because that's how you get your clients.
And why is it so important, do you think, to show yourself? So if it's on social media, which is the classic one, isn't it, the Facebook and the Instagram, which is where a lot of people are, and LinkedIn, why is it so important to show yourself, do you think?
So we live in a world of social media, and most people now, even into the age of people in their 50s, anyone from 50s downwards has pretty much grown up with social media now. So yes, for kind of those of us in our 40s and 50s, it's kind of did come in at some point in our lives, but now for most people probably been in their lives more than it wasn't. And we are therefore used to seeing inside people's worlds. And if you look at the younger generations as well, they have grown up with it, and that's all they've ever known. So we're used to being able to see everything about people. We see their faces all the time, and we are nosy. We like to see those things. And if you think about, as a business, your clients want to know who you are. They want to see inside your world. And if they can't, there's a little bit of suspicion there. I always use this example with my clients, that if I get followed by lots of accounts, sort of Instagram is one of my main channels, and if an account follows me on Instagram and it's just graphics, stock photos, then I kind of go, oh, is this real, or is it a spam account, like phishing for my data, or is it an actual genuine business? And that's where I think it's really important to build that trust, to show, oh, there is a real person behind this business, and that helps build trust with your potential clients.
So it's that know, like, and trust.
Exactly, classic, so that's exactly it. So it's building that know, like, and trust. But also, putting yourself out there, the more people see you, the more they feel they know you. And they're so much more likely, therefore they're kind of like a step down that path of kind of being ready to book you, basically. So whatever service you offer, if you you've got to kind of guide people, you know, a certain way, because they're not going to kind of suddenly hear about you today and book your service, you know, the next day. We need to kind of take them down and sort of show them what we're capable of. And by putting yourself out there, it's that like bit basically. So they get to know you, they get to like you, and then that's kind of moved them that much closer, because they feel ready to kind of work with you.
Yeah, because they could be stalking you for quite some time.
Yeah,
in a good way, but they might kind of be thinking, right, I need to get to know this person before I want to work with them.
Absolutely. And I always say to people, if you kind of imagine like yourself picking a service. So I was recently looking for a new dog groomer.
Yeah.
And I looked at a few different businesses, and there are some businesses out there where you just see, you know, the dogs, and then probably not even the dogs they're grooming. They're, you know, just stock photos that they've just downloaded of any dogs. And then the groomers where you can see like the team on the website, and it talks about, you know, their interests and, you know, the dogs they love, and you see them working. And so I'm trusting my little pup over to someone to look after him, you know, for an hour and kind of give him a good haircut. And I already feel like I have that trust, because I'm like, oh, I can see where they work. I can see them working with the dogs. And I know I'm much more confident to book that service. And I think that applies to anything.
Yeah.
If you have that confidence, you feel comfortable, and you're always going to choose, if you're looking at two businesses, you're always going to choose the one where you can see the people and see what the experience is going to be like, compared to one that's just, stock photos, and you just, our minds just go, oh, is this, can I trust this? Yeah.
Even with my business, it's face to face, and it's a big thing, because that's where I was kind of coming from with my website, where I have businesses on there, and I encourage people to give me photos of them.
Yes.
And if you've got videos, I need videos, because it was always originally going to be these raw videos of people going, hi, you know, this is me in my this is what the business I do, or in my premises. And it's exactly that. It's just so that people can kind of, before they make that inquiry, they're going to pick before they waste their time almost in making that call. So they're going to kind of stalk a little bit. And
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think we don't even realize how much people are stalking us. So I think if you are a business and you're putting yourself out there on social media, sometimes you can be looking at, you know, what you've put out, and you're like, oh, I only got this many likes, or, you know, no one commented on this. But then you'll bump into someone, you know, at a networking meeting like yours, and then people will go, oh, I saw you did this, and you've been up to this, and you've been up to this, and you're like, oh, I didn't know you'd seen any of that, because you didn't react. So,
you know,
but they are watching, even if they're not engaging.
It's so handy as well that when you walk into a room, they've already seen you, so they approach you, and you think, oh, I don't have to do the introductions.
Absolutely. I find that quite often when I come to, the first time I came to one of your meetings, actually, there was a couple of people that kind of came up to me, and they're like, oh, I feel like I know you from somewhere, and I'd never met them before. And I was like, oh, I am quite active and visible on Instagram. And they're like, oh yes, I follow you. But it's, you already feel, they feel like they're a friend already. They feel like they know you. So it's just kind of building that relationship. It's all about relationships, connections, and people, then you're helping them feel ready to use your service in your business.
And they don't have to put anything personal on there, do they? Because some people are quite closed, or they might be quite private, but it's not a case of just airing everything on social media. It's just a case of showing your face and maybe doing a couple of videos.
Absolutely. I would always encourage people to be putting their face out there in photos, doing videos, talking to camera if they can, and I do help people with that. So I have a whole a course coming up soon, and I can coach people on kind of how to talk on camera. But I would say my two things I always say to people is about authenticity, but also about control. So you want to be authentic, you want to be your genuine self, you want to show, and people do want to see inside your life. They don't just want to see the business you, but you are in control of how much you share. So authenticity to me isn't about like putting yourself on camera crying. Like, I hate those videos where people are like in tears, because I'm like, who gets upset and then goes, right, I'm going to film myself crying? If that's your brand, then no judgment. Like, if it works for you,
but if it's
then
not genuine.
But that's it for me. It wouldn't work for my brand. But it's also about control. So you decide how much you put out there. So my example that I use myself is I have a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old. They, when they were little, I used to photograph them all the time, and they were all over my website and everywhere. Now they're much more private, and we've brought them up around social media, that people have to ask consent before they put your picture out there, and that is no different for me. And a lot of the time they actually won't consent. They'll say like, yeah, no, I don't want my photo on your Instagram. Please don't put me on there.
Oh.
So I do, like, I have to ask first, and they will say yes or no. So you won't necessarily see my sons on my Instagram very much, but I talk about being a mum. I talk about the fact that I'm, you know, got teenagers. So people still know I'm a teen mum. Teen mum. I'm not a teen mum. Clearly,
a mum of teens.
A mum of teens, I should say. But yeah, so people know I'm a mum of teens, but they wouldn't necessarily walk down the street and recognise my children and go, "Oh, I know that you're Abby's son." So that's a good example of control. So you can talk about things, you can talk about your family without your family having to be put on your socials all the time. And it's the same with, you know, your hobbies and all those things. You are in control of how much you share.
Yeah, I think it is quite nice if somebody knows, oh, somebody wants to know, are they married, do they have children, are they local, where do you live? That's a big one for me, because I'm more about all about locations. I want to know where they're from. So it's just the basic things. And also, even if you look at a website and there's no location, or say, you know, say your husband was a handyman, I want to know where he is, obviously, because of where he's working.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and yourself, if I was hiring you as photography, you know, what radius do you come out? So, you know, all those sorts of things are important. But showing up is the one thing that people do sometimes either forget or they put to the back burner.
Absolutely.
They just don't want to do it.
Yeah, there's a lot of fear involved, I think. People don't.
They tear themselves apart. They go on. And what you're saying about video, because one thing is sort of being brave enough to have photos. And I've had people that have sent me selfies, and then they'll send me another one. Oh no, don't use that one. And they're picking holes in it, and they'll send me another one. But then there's another thing doing video, isn't there?
Absolutely.
That's another step up if you're really not used to it.
Yeah, because a photo is done in a second, and I always say, like, I just need a split second to get a good photo of someone, because it's just that very quick smile and you've got it. Whereas a video, it's about talking as well. It's not just like capturing that single pose for a second. It's about kind of coming across professionally, and the way you kind of want to be seen. And people worry about how they look, how they sound, what they're saying, stumbling over their words. I mean, this is the thing that my biggest piece of advice, if fear is holding you back, is to remember that you are your harshest critic. So nobody else, there's a voice inside your head that looks at your photos and criticizes the way you look and says, oh, look at that, look at this, you know, oh, that's not a good photo. And then you'll watch the videos, oh, you stumbled over these words, you sound this, look at how you look. That voice is inside your head. Nobody else is looking at that video or that photo and making those same judgments. And I'm honest with people, like, I used to hate doing this too. So this is why I now do it, because I've seen the transformation it's brought for me. And so I'm really passionate, because it's grown my business. And so I've seen it working for me, and I see it now working for my clients. But I make no secret of the fact that, like, 7 or 8 years ago, I hated it, and I was not putting myself out there. So I know what it's like, and I do still have that critic. So I will still, like, I'll put a photo up and I'll look at it and I'll hear these voices going, oh, look at this, look at that. But I just have to go, no, that's fine, because nobody else is looking at that photo. And I always say to people, like, think about how your best friend would view that photo, and what you're saying about yourself if you said that to your best friend, because your best friend would look at a photo of you and they'll just say, oh, you've got a beautiful smile, and oh, you look really lovely there. And if you said those things to your best friend, you know, these are things that I show people photos on the back of the camera sometimes, and they go, oh my god, my arms look massive, oh, I hate my hair, oh, my teeth look wonky. Imagine saying that to your best friend. Like, you would never talk to someone that way. And that's because the only person that sees you in that way is yourself. So it's kind of learning to silence those voices and go, actually, no, you know, I do look okay, and I sound okay, and we do stumble over our words. You know, I probably have already in this podcast, but it doesn't matter, because no one's listening. You know, people,
we're keeping it real.
Yeah, exactly. That's the authenticity. Because if you talk to me in real life, meet you in a networking meeting, I am going to stumble over my words. I talk really quickly, and I stumble over my words a lot, and I get words wrong. So there's no point then trying to change that and come, you know, show up on camera and not do it.
I'm the same. I get excited, and I'm like,
yeah. And I always say now, just make a joke out of it and go, you know, you sort of just go, oh, tripping over my words today, or, you know, whatever it is, you like, or just ignore it and move on. But you don't have to then stop and restart, because that's the thing, is like with video, the trap, if you're being that harsher critic of yourself, is you think, oh, I've done it wrong, and you stop and you start and you re-record, and then you do it 20 times, and then at the end of the 20 times you're not sounding authentic anymore because you're trying to perfect it. And so it's aim for one and done is always my advice.
That's interesting. So I do face to camera, always a pre-record, and to be fair, if I did it live I'd probably get it right this time. But a lot of the times I'm kind of just putting information across, so I kind of have that in my head that nobody's, as you say, no one's picking me apart. No. I'm just giving them some information they need to know, and I'm hosting an event, so that's usually what I'm putting out there. But I might get it wrong because I might get the date wrong. And I've tried the auto cues, but actually you can tell I'm reading.
I don't like auto cues at all. I advise against them. So.
Because Instagram edits have brought it out where it's got the
I don't like
got that as well. But and it could be handy for some people. I have done an ad for somebody else where I've had to use one and it worked, but it wasn't me.
Again, you lose that authenticity because you, even though, like they say, like when they advertise these things, they say, oh, you can't see your eyes moving and they can't see you reading. But if you talk naturally and read something, it does sound different. So my advice is always prepare bullet points and prepare an opening line, because it's always about grabbing attention straight off. So my thing that my pet hate, and people always flinch when I tell them this because a lot of people do it, is when you're doing videos, particularly for social media, a lot of people start and go, oh, I just thought I'd come on today to talk about this, or hi guys, how are you doing? And that's you, because you've got 2 seconds to grab people's attention maximum.
Go straight in.
And if you're doing that, people are lost already. They're like, oh, boring. So you want to go straight in with kind of what you're talking about today. So for you, it might be a question. It's like, you know, how do you feel about networking? Or when was the last time you were in a room of people, you know, other businesses, that kind of thing. So dive straight in there. Or even you could just go networking, you know, our next event is. So it's kind of like getting straight to the point, because then immediately you'll still lose people, because people will go, oh, well, I'm not interested in networking. That's not for me. But that doesn't matter, because that's
to your audience,
exactly the people who are interested in networking are the people you want to hear that video, and they're like, oh yeah, I want to find a new networking meeting, and they'll watch on to see the details. So
the other thing for me, and you'll probably do this when you do your marketing courses and workshops, is to put subtitles up, because a lot of people actually don't have the sound on. And if I actually scroll and I see a video and there's no sound on it and there's nothing in the caption, I kind of think I can't be bothered to listen. So that's really important.
Absolutely, you will notice a difference. Like if you look at your analytics on the different platforms, you will see you get far less views if there's no captions, because not everyone can be listening out loud. I've actually just booked a client for a headshot who actually said to me, she loved the videos I was putting up on Facebook, and she said, I haven't actually listened to them because I'm putting my little one to sleep. So she watches while she's sat in the room in the dark while the little one's trying to fall asleep, and she's just watching, but she can read the captions. So if I hadn't had the captions there, she wouldn't have booked with me, because it would just be a person talking and she would have no idea what I'm talking about. So it does make a difference. You will see the difference in your results, but it's helpful for people to be able to read and see what you're saying.
And it's good because they're still seeing that face. So they don't necessarily need to hear your voice. They're seeing you talking, and you're more
it's just
animated,
still personality. And some people will listen out. You know, it depends. You know, some people are watching on their lunch break.
Might be on a train.
Exactly. So it depends. You know, but you're immediately losing however many people haven't got sound on if you don't have those captions. Whereas if you include the captions, and it's all done auto now. I mean, I hate it because Instagram, whenever I introduce myself, completely spells my name wrong and spells it 3 different ways. So I have to go in and edit them. But I mean, I don't even bother with that sometimes, because again, it's all about making it as quick and easy as possible.
I mean, I've seen like big influencers, celebrities, and they don't bother sort of changing it, because it's just, as you say, you're putting some information out there, and it's something that somebody probably only watch once, isn't it?
If at all. And I love the old adage, was it today's news is tomorrow's chip paper? And I know that's kind of, you know, referring to news and sort of, you know, how things were before, but it really applies to social media, because people worry, oh, I put a video out there and it wasn't great, but actually that only a small percentage of your followers are actually going to watch it, and then it's gone. It's like halfway down your feed. If you're consistent with your posting, which you should be, then, you know, within a week that's like halfway down your grid, and nobody is scrolling down to do everything that, you know, watch everything that you've done. So yeah, the only person that's paying as close attention to any of this stuff is you. So yeah,
but then that's when you kind of need to repeat your message as well.
Yes.
So don't even worry about repeating and thinking, I've already said this.
Yeah.
Because, and then practice makes perfect, doesn't it?
Because
I'll try it again.
Yeah.
Do it in a different location, wear a different top.
Exactly.
Say it slightly differently.
Yeah. So I quite often have clients come to me that say, you know, maybe they're running an event and they haven't booked enough tickets, and I'll say, well, what have you put out there about it? And they're like, oh, well, I put a post up last week, and it's one post, and I'm like, well, you're going to get at best, like, so the average is less than 10% of your followers seeing your content. If you're putting out really good engaging content, you might get up to 15-20%, but that's for like really strong accounts that are constantly putting out good stuff. So it's a really small percentage. And then it's not just about that. It's, you know, the fact that just if you think people have seen it, they might have only watched, if you did it as a video, they might have only watched the first half of it. So it's putting it out in all the different ways. It's all about repetition. It makes your life easier. So because you're saying the same thing, but you just do it differently. You put some out with a photo, you put some out with a graphic. There's lots of different ways of talking about the same thing. So I always think if you're promoting a specific offer, an event, whatever it is you're trying to put out there, then you kind of just focus on that for a week and just talk about that in as many different ways as you can. And
people need to see it. Is it like so many times, 10, 14 times or something? You need to see it before they buy it. Then you need to make it easy for people. Like, where's the link? What was the date again? You know, so you need to keep repeating that message, don't you?
And I know Saf, who's another one of your lovely networkers, she does a lot about repetition, and I completely agree with everything she says. So it's all about repetition and repurposing as well. So take what you've done and do it in a slightly different way, because I think this is where people fall down with marketing, that they think, oh, I have to do all these different things and I have to keep coming up with new things. And actually you don't. You just need to tweak it, and once you're repeating, it makes things much easier, because you're not recreating every single time something completely new.
So that's where you're making it simple for people.
Absolutely. And that's the two things for me is, one, making it easier so that people, because a lot of people just feel completely just don't know what they're doing with it, or just overwhelmed. People kind of find they just don't have time, and you know, you are running a business, but you know, do you have time to do the marketing as well? Well, you'd have to do that to make the business successful. So it's about the ease in that respect, but also about getting the results. So you really want to make sure, if you are putting stuff out there, that it is kind of getting results and is doing what it wants. So I always say to people, put a call to action on things. So that was my other point on videos, just to have your bullet points, but have a starting line but also a closing line, because that's the other thing, is if we don't know how we're going to finish something, we get lost and we don't really know where we're going, and then you just go if you know your end line is networking on this date, book your ticket, you know, through this link, or comment below for the link, then you know that's where you're going to. So even if you find yourself getting lost, you just jump straight to that line and it's done. But you're also telling people what action to take next. So and that's kind of where it's getting the results, because a lot of people miss that. They sort of say, oh, I've got this amazing offer or this amazing service, and then that's it. But you need to guide people and tell them how are they going to book that, and you know, where they're going to go. You make it easy for people, basically.
Sometimes a shorter video can actually be more challenging, can't it? Because you want to give all that information, and although it kind of can be quite nerve-wracking to begin with, once you get going, it's like, I've only got like 60 seconds really, because you don't really want to go crazy with it, do you?
For a talking to camera video, I mean, I say maximum 90 seconds, but you're going to lose most people at around the 40 mark, even if they're interested. So you really want to keep it tight and concise if you can. And this, again, is that, you know, in terms of the simplification of it all, if you've got that much to say, just keep talking, but then look at how you can break it down into 3 different videos, because that's helping with your consistency. So if you put 3 videos up with different, and having different parts, or, you know, different themes, however you're going to do it, but by breaking it down, that's going to be so much more effective for you than a 3-minute. No one's watching a 3-minute video.
No.
So it's kind of do those bite-sized chunks and keep it nice and tight and concise.
Unless you're doing a YouTube tutorial or something like that, which would be a
yeah,
longer
absolutely,
video.
So if it's like if you're doing like training or that kind of thing, but if it's a marketing message that we're getting out there trying to grab attention and get people to take action, because also we tend to do our call to action at the end, so the call to action being the telling people what to do next. And you think, so if you've done that, if you're doing your call to action in 90 seconds, you probably lost even that video is being viewed by a small percentage of your followers, and then only a small percentage of those are watching right to the end. So how many are actually seeing that? So it's kind of getting it in sooner so that you get them to take action.
You want to get absolutely. So lots to think about, which again is what you're there for, really, to guide. Something that you kind of mentioned and made me think about those that are using social media and the younger generation. Now, I have got a 22-year-old who does not use social media.
Wow, that's quite unique.
All. Yeah. And I've got a 10-year-old who has 2 YouTube. I'm trying to think if it was 3, but definitely 2 YouTube accounts. So she is very influenced by the YouTubers, and especially gaming and things like that. And the one thing that I do notice is that the gamers that she watches, they are the sort of Gen Zs, and they have no fear. They have 0 fear of getting, and they'll be in their bedrooms, and they're consistent. They have their marketing strategy. They know what they're doing, and they're millionaires. And she will watch them, and she knows this. So then she'll go on, and she does do the hi guys. And you think, oh, but that's how they do it. But they don't kind of know, go like and subscribe. It's free, and they do all of that, and they have no fear. So where does that fear begin? Is it because we just didn't grow up with social media? And it's quite a relatively new thing for us, do you think?
I think it's a little bit about the fact that it is new to us, and I would say most of the women I work with are aged somewhere between about 35 and 55. And certainly sort of in the sort of top half of that age bracket, one of the things I help people with is the technical side. Like, people just struggle, like, because you haven't grown up with it. I've got a lady that I've worked with that didn't know how to put audio on Instagram, and wouldn't even know how to put captions on, that kind of thing.
So you help with the actual
so I can help with the technical
uploading
side. To be honest, a lot of that I tend to send people links, because I think, like, for a coaching call, you want to focus on a lot of that can be learned, but then we kind of, like I say, sort of learn what you can, and then I'll answer questions. It's much more about the mindset stuff and the confidence, and the strategy. But I think a lot of it is about feeling alien. It's like an alien world to us, but also I would say that there is a certain thing around, because it's young people doing it, like I think we as women sort of see, like, 25-year-olds doing stuff, and I have a lot of clients who say to me, I feel too old to do this now. And it might be, and it's some of it's about the way they look, some of it's about kind of what they have to say, and have they got enough, like, a phrase I hear a lot is, who am I to do this? Who am I to say that?
So it's almost like that imposter syndrome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think all of that is
niggling in the back
I don't
of your
know,
mind.
with the younger generations, I think they are, because they've grown up with it, they see people putting themselves out there without that fear, and it's not been embedded in. I think we grew up, I think you're a similar age to me. In the 80s.
Mid-40s.
Exactly. So we grew up with, like, magazines, like, picking holes in women and the way they looked.
Models.
So you'd have, like, the models being put up there who were, like, amazing, like, super skinny, always looking perfect, and airbrushed to like, none of them actually look like that in reality.
In the 90s it was a big thing. It was that sort of, really skinny look, wasn't it?
And then there would also be, like, your newspapers and your gossip magazines going, oh, look at this, woman, she's got a little bit of cellulite.
She's on the beach.
Her jeans are hanging over the top of her,
her
tummy's hanging over the top of her jeans even. I mean, there you go, stumbling over my words, as I say, but who cares? No one's going to pick up on it. And I think we've grown up with that and being told you're not good enough, and it's breaking through that. And I always think, like, have you ever gone to book a service? You're choosing a new hairdresser, and gone, oh well, I'm not going to book her because she's got a double chin, or you know,
Yeah,
my dog
exactly.
groomer example, you know, I'm not going to book that dog groomer because she needs to lose, you know, half a stone, or her arms look too big, because these are the things that we're saying are the reasons that are holding people back. But no one is out there going, oh well, I'm not going to book her because yeah, her hair looked messy.
Yeah.
Like, it's people don't care.
No, they're not. In
It's
fact,
so I
they want
think
you
it's,
to be a bit more personable. If you
yeah,
did look like a model, it might be a bit more
yeah,
intimidating.
absolutely,
Actually.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's all about, it's, I hate the phrase, but it's a bit like get over it basically, because it's, but there is mindset work to do
But
there.
that's the mindset to get
yeah,
over yourself, isn't it? And then, as you say, it's just, what is it that I'm doing?
yes,
What do I need? What is the outcome? And it's to make money.
yeah,
It's my business. So I'm putting out the
yes,
information. So it's just that mindset of, you know, just that
yeah,
clicking
absolutely,
that switch, or flicking that switch in your mind, isn't it? Of actually, I'm putting the information out. They're not looking at me.
yeah,
But obviously they need to see me because it's my business.
yeah.
You've got to own it a little bit,
Yeah,
don't you?
and I think it's also about getting used to looking at yourself as well. So
Yeah.
like I imagine your daughter, I've got a 3-year-old niece, like they've grown up with mobile phones and they know what they look like because they see themselves, and like they're like, you know, my little niece is more interested just because it's fun and, you know, see
the
herself on there
and things,
but like that's how they've grown up. And you see all the teenagers, they're constantly like looking in the phones, but in a way, like I don't love that whole culture, but they know what they look like,
the influence of
and
culture,
they know. So then there isn't a surprise when they then see themselves in a photo, because they are taking these regular photos. Whereas I think once you work with women that are kind of, you know, sort of 35 upwards, we don't spend time. Often, you know, a lot of my clients are parents as well. So you're rushing around, you've got a business to run, you've got kids to get to school, you've got all this stuff. How many of these women are actually taking time to look at themselves in the mirror? You know, they're like rushing on with their makeup in the morning, if they're even putting makeup on, quick brush the hair and out. And so that's one of the exercises I encourage my clients to do, is actually just stand and look at yourself in a mirror and say positive things to yourself.
Yeah, it's
so
that NLP
yeah,
thing,
because it's
isn't it?
all, yeah, so I love affirmations, like they're so powerful. But yeah, and like think about, yeah, what would your friends be saying about you? And instead of looking at yourself and going, oh, I hate this, you just go, oh, I've got a beautiful smile, or I love my eyes, or my hair looks really good today, and compliment yourself. Because it's, yeah, like you say, neuroplasticity. The more we say those positive things, it's rewires our brain, and then it all helps. Because then when you see yourself in a photo, you've been looking at yourself and you don't,
it's not a big shock.
Yeah, because sometimes like people, I'll take photos and they'll go, oh god, I look really old, and I'm like, you don't look really old.
It also might be because we compare ourselves to our younger selves. So those that are, you know, 35 plus. 35 isn't older.
No, absolutely not. But I find that's kind of like where the
if you've had children, your body's changed. You know, or with COVID as well. I mean, I turned 40 just before COVID, and then didn't go out for however many years. So then my job changed and I was working for myself, and then I started to see myself and I was like, oh, I've changed. I've really changed. Like, this dress doesn't fit me anymore. But as you say, the more you do it and the more you look at yourself and see yourself, the more you just accept it and adjust.
Absolutely.
Otherwise it is a big shock to some people, some women.
Exactly that. So it is about being, just kind of accepting of what you look like, and positive about what you look like. And there's a real paradox there as well, because I do a lot around posing tips and lighting, and I share quite a lot on my accounts about how to look good in photos. But then I'm also saying to you, like, your clients don't care, and it's kind of like, well, is it mixed messages? But the bottom sort of it all is you care. So your clients just want to see your face and just want to get to know you. But if you're looking at photos and you're not loving them, you're less likely to use them, and you're less likely to be on video, you're less likely to be visible, you're less likely to share your photos. So I'm trying to help people with their inner self of feeling confident showing up and learning to love the way they look. But actually, it doesn't really matter, but it matters to us. So that's which is why I share it, because I like I said, no one cares if you're a stone overweight or whatever it is that you're telling yourself is a problem. But I do help people learn how to flatter themselves in those photos and kind of use posing and lighting to help themselves look better,
but
because
also
they need to love them.
the lighting is just handy to see you as
Yes.
well on the camera. So if you are talking to the camera, you know, maybe just have something that's not so distracting in the background.
Absolutely.
You know, you don't want your dirty washing basket in the background that people are looking at. Not so much that they're judging you, but it's a distraction.
Yeah.
So it's just thinking about those things. I mean, with me, because I'm very much on my social media, it's about my location.
Yes.
You'll often find me down at the Maidenhead Bridge. I'll have a backdrop, and I do that deliberately. I mean, I've just been on holiday, and I was so tempted to do a video in Tuscany, and I thought, do you know what? It's just not relevant to my business.
People want to see Maidenhead.
It has to be. Yeah, if they see that, it could be quite confusing. So I need to put the right message out.
Yeah, it's all about the context. So so I sort of, with lighting, I always say to people, like, you can actually lose about 10 years, like, with good lighting. So where I'm sitting now, so people can't see on the video, but and it's a podcast as well, they can't hear.
Yes,
but I'm facing, my back is to a window, so this would actually be the worst lighting, but you've got lovely studio lights in here which are going to hopefully help with that. But if I was recording a video, I would always turn and face the window. So having that natural window light on your face it's all to do with like contrast. So basically it's the lines on our faces that make us feel we look older, and that soft light doesn't highlight them as much, so it's almost like natural light retouching. So by having that nice light without harsh sunlight, so you don't want to face a window where there's like direct sunlight coming in. It's kind of the window but without that direct sun. And then the background needs to be in context to you, so kind of plain, or it doesn't need to be completely neutral because you don't want it to be too boring. So like having a plant behind you is quite nice, or certain things. But you wouldn't want like your laundry basket in the background, or you know, dinner on the table half eaten, that kind of thing. So
you've got to keep it real, but keep it the context. Absolutely. And being a photographer, that's a real benefit as well, because you can advise on how people can appear on camera as well. And as you say, it's what makes them look good, and then they're more likely to put it out there, because they could create this video and then think, oh no, I still don't want to hit the send the publish button, but then they'd be more likely to actually be proud of it.
And that's exactly it. It's about getting people to feel more confident in themselves to do these things. And then once you've done it a few times, you actually realise it's not that scary. I think your first video is always the hardest, but it's gone and forgotten. And just post it, even like if you hate it, just post it, because your clients don't care. They want to see you.
I mean, if you think about lockdown, everybody was dancing on TikTok and cringing. Exactly, but trends change as well, don't they? I know somebody who does do Instagram training, and she cringes at her original post because she's doing all the pointing and all that kind of thing, because it was the trend at the time. So again, it's, some people do like to keep up with trends depending on their branding.
And again, I'd go back to authenticity. It's about what's right for you. So I, for one, like, I love to dance, but I love to dance in private. I don't really like dancing on camera. So you would not really find, you won't go on my Instagram and see me doing these like dance trends or lip syncing or anything like that, because it just doesn't feel authentic to me. I never say never, so you never know. But it's just not for me. It's not authentic. But if that's not to say that I don't think people should do that, because if you are comfortable doing that, that's cool, and it fits your brand and it's right for you, then go for it. But I think a lot of people are scared that being on Instagram means following trends, and like you say, like doing the pointing, doing the lip syncing and doing these things, and you don't actually have to do that. It can just be a video of you going about your day with a caption over the top that tells you know, people something helpful, or it could just be talking to camera, sharing a tip. So it's,
and you can even just do it on a story if you're a bit scared, just to begin with, and that falls off after 24 hours. So just as a kind of, you know, starter, ease yourself into it, just start showing yourself on stories. And then
I do a lot of talking stories, and that's actually how I built my confidence. And I started actually quite often doing them out when I was like out for lunch on a walk with the dog, because you're walking along, and I mean, that's a whole different kind of thing is like people seeing you and you're like,
Yeah.
I used to like stop and I'd be like, oh, I'll stop that and I'll refilm it later.
Oh yes,
But
when there's people
it's, yeah,
walking
because
around.
whereas now I'm just like, let them,
I will,
like, who cares what they
I
think.
will say,
So
actually, so I'm the same, because I go out, I very rarely do anything from home because I like people to see the backdrops.
yes, yeah, Maidenhead.
And sometimes I will wait for people, especially if they're talking and they're rowdy.
Yeah.
In fact, I did one the other day, last week it was, and there was a group of men walking past and they're really loud, so I did have to redo it. But then there was another lady walking and she just sort of looked over and then just carried on walking. So she's either going to think that I'm FaceTiming somebody or just think, oh, she's doing social media, because we're all on it.
Who cares? Like,
and
yeah,
you go away, you go to
Yeah.
London, you go abroad, everybody is taking photos of, you've got the Instagram husband,
Yeah.
and all that kind of thing, taking photos, doing videos. And it's almost the way of the world now, isn't it?
Yeah, and stories on Instagram are quite a nice way to start and to sort of, you can be a bit more chatty, so it is still good to get in there with your point. People still will swipe on stories, but I think people are a bit more forgiving on stories, and that's where people do share about their day. So they will, sort of say, oh, they're interested in you. They're a bit nosy, like, what's she up to this week? So they will. So you can just go on and just talk about what you're up to. It's a good place to practice. And yeah, like you say, disappears within 24 hours. Not many people are going to see it. So, and the more you do it, the easier it gets.
So that's definitely your top tip.
Yeah.
The more you do it, the easier it gets.
Yeah. It's
so if somebody wants to work with you, so you've got the two hats, haven't you? So you've got two Instagram accounts for your photography, but things are changing, aren't they?
Yeah, so I'm currently going through a bit of a rebrand,
Okay.
because up until now, so I've been doing visibility coaching and marketing coaching for about 18 months, probably longer than that really, with clients. Just they'd have photos and I'd kind of give them informal advice, but in terms of actually offering it as a service. But I was confusing people because my branding was photography by Abby Moore, and it is more than photography. So yeah, I'm now rebranding this week. So by the time this goes out, I will just be Abby Moore.
So Abby Moore.
And totally my whole advice around personal brand, I am now my personal brand.
You are. Yeah. Well, exactly. So do we need to spell your name?
Yes. Yeah.
You say there's another photographer with the same name as...
There used to be. Okay. Yeah. So and no one can ever spell Abby, so I'm ABI, and then Moore is MWRE. But yeah, that's where I will be on Instagram under Abby Moore, and my website is rebranded as that. So I do have a second Instagram account, which is more, that's sort of, like I said, that's sort of 10% that I do with families and weddings. So I kind of do photographs of families, family get-togethers, reunions, little children, the occasional newborn. And weddings, I tend to work with older couples actually. So it's usually people that are kind of marrying later in life.
I did spot
either because
I spotted one actually. They looked like an amazing
celebrity
couple. Yeah, they looked amazing, and that was in Windsor, wasn't it? Yeah, on a long walk, and they looked fabulous.
They were.
But they were an older couple.
Yes, yeah. So they were. I won't say how old they were. But yeah, they were gorgeous couple. Yeah. We were in Windsor, and like literally, she was in a red dress and he was in a white suit, so they kind of flipped.
They looked like rock stars.
They did. And this is the thing, in Windsor they had the carriage, so Windsor carriages, give them a little shout out. They were they took us down the long walk around Windsor, and people, when they were stopping, were going up to the coachman going, are they celebrities? Like, and they were going, yeah, they are. But yeah, no, they were a lovely couple. But yeah, no, I tend to work with people that have married later in life because they've either just they've had children and haven't got around to it yet, or it might be a second marriage for either one or both of them. So but yeah, so I have a second account for that. But yeah, most of where you'll find me is like the work with businesses on. So you're kind of getting yourself out there.
Berkshire, Surrey way, but Bucks, Surrey.
Yeah, I mean, I travel all over the south of England, really. Yeah. So it's always nice to work in Windsor and Maidenhead because it's nice and local. But yeah, I will kind of go wherever people need me. So yeah.
And then obviously, if somebody wants to work with you, your branding, that can be remote, can it?
Yeah, so obviously photo shoot needs to be in person. Yeah. But yeah, on the coaching side.
Sorry, with the coaching.
Yeah, so they can, I do coaching packages. So you can book just for one-off. So We have what I call an empowerment hour, because that's what it's all about for me. It's empowering people to take it on themselves, so they feel daunted by it all, whether it's empowered to be more visible or empowered to do their own marketing. And I also do like a 6-month program where, so the one-off is kind of just like look at where things are now and give them a bit of an action plan to take themselves up a level, whereas the 6-month course is all about kind of, we really go into detail, and I give them feedback, so I set them tasks and we look and we come back and then look at how they did, and then then it sort of is, it's in increments basically, so by the end of the 6 months they really feel like they know what they're doing and they can get themselves out there.
That's amazing.
And then my photography packages as well obviously need to be in person, but I do have both standalone photography packages, so from anything from a headshot, so people just want a couple of photos done for their website or LinkedIn, through to kind of 1 hour, 3 hour shoots to give them all this content that they need for Instagram, because you're putting yourself out there. And I do video content as part of it as well, so giving them some of that video content. And I also have a combined package, so which is like my sort of visibility deluxe package basically. So if you are currently at a point where you just think, I really want my business to grow, but I don't have the photos and I just feel scared about putting myself out there, that's the one that it's all everything encompassing. Wow. So visibility coaching, mindset shifts, how to use all your stuff for marketing, and actually taking the photos and helping them look great on camera. So yeah, so it kind of all comes under just, I like to say, showing up and shining. So kind of putting yourself out there, because you can. That's my big message to people. They can put themselves out there. Yeah, it feels scary.
It's just yourself holding it back, really, isn't it?
And I have a free guide as well for anyone that has listened to this and thinks, okay, I hear you and I know I need to be more visible, but I don't know what to do. There's links to that on my website and on my socials, so which is all about kind of where to start with being visible. So lots of tips.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much for talking to me
today. I loved it. Thank you for inviting me, Emma.
Thank you.